my colleagues, Shri Chandrakant Dada Patil, Shri Vinod Tawade, Shri MC Marwa, Srimati Medha Gadgil, Shri Dhar Chakravarti, Srimati Shalini Bharat, Shri Devang Khakkar, Shri N. Ananda Babu, all the distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to this 4th Congress on Disaster Management. And I am very happy that the government of Maharashtra, along with DMICS, Tata Institute of Social Sciences, and IIT Bombay, we have jointly organized this Congress. And what is more heartening is the participation from across the globe, where I am told that contributions from more than 50 countries and delegates from more than 30 countries have arrived, which makes it a truly global Congress. Congratulations to all the participants and thank you for such overwhelming response. All of us know that there was a time when after every disaster, we used to say that it's a fait accompli or act of God. But now, in past 30 years, things have changed. We have started acting proactively to mitigate the effects of disaster. We have started sharing data. We have started installing early warning systems. We have started dissemination of information. We have started informing the communities. And I think that now all of us in the globe have understood that no disaster affects a single country or community, but somehow it has effect on every aspect and every one who belongs to this humanity. And that is why, whether it is United Nations or several forums which have started interacting more on the issue of disaster mitigation, disaster response. And I think even if you look at the Sustainable Development Goals, majority of the Sustainable Development Goals are aimed towards disaster mitigation, and we have adopted a very ambitious target. By 2030, we have to reduce the risk of disasters substantially. And as it is rightly said, to do this, everyone from the community, everyone from the society, and all of the government has to come together. It's a area, as rightly said, where we cannot work in silos. It doesn't affect A or B. It has a cascading effect. And human capital, the economic impact, all put together, I think it is better to act early. With all the contributions that have come here, I think in this Congress, we are able to find out, we'll be able to find out new ways of proactiveness. And I'm very happy that government of Maharashtra could host this. All of us know that Maharashtra is one of the most progressive states in India. And by size of population, it would have been 10th largest nation in the world. And by the size of its economy, it would have been 20th largest economy in the world. And with all this size, as rightly told, it is prone to all type of disasters. 52% of Maharashtra is drought prone. In almost 4 years, in last 5 years, we have experienced extreme drought. But I think, as rightly mentioned by our minister, we are finding our own ways to make the state drought proof. We are trying to fight with the vagaries of nature and to make our agriculture and our livelihood more sustainable. Just to give example, as rightly told by our minister, our scheme of Jalyukt Shivar, which is one of the schemes which is dedicated to water conservation through watershed management, what we could achieve in terms of drought is that in 2012-13, the state received 110% rainfall and our productivity was 185 metric ton. And last year, we received just 84% of rains. That is around 26% less than what we got in 2013. But our productivity is more than 185 lakh metric ton, which was in 12-13. It is only because of our initiatives of drought proofing that we could avert this disaster to a large extent, and we could provide sustainability to some extent in agriculture. I think we need to find out ways to mitigate and to give a proper response to the disasters, whether they are natural or man-made. In fact, technology is changing the entire space of response, action, and how do we mitigate a disaster. I'm very happy that this is happening in the campus of IIT Bombay, which has been a very premier institute in not just learning but also innovation in providing technology. And today we have also integrated the industry along with academia in this Congress, where the industry partners have put up their capabilities in one of the exhibitions which I had fortune to inaugurate, and I was very happy to see all those capabilities which have been developed, which are also into early warning systems, into responses, into precision responses. And I think that with this technology, we can actually do a lot of innovation in the way we respond to a disaster, or in a way we try to avert a disaster. Now, with artificial intelligence, and data, I think our responses can change, because at the time of any disaster, the responses have to be informed. And this informed response can be calibrated through the data and artificial intelligence and the tools which we can develop through all these new technologies, so that we have minimum calamities, whether it is human resource or the economic damage, we can substantially bring it down. I was going through the compendium of the reports or the papers which have been submitted, and I find them very inclusive. It is touching every aspect of disaster and also includes every section of the society into response. And I think that is something which we really want to integrate into our action plan. I'm sure that the August gathering here, in its deliberation, would come out with a plan to actually achieve not just the sustainable development goals, but also a strategy to reduce disasters in substantial manner by 2030. I think India has always played a pivotal role in all such initiatives, and I think in the Paris Agreement, where our Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji played a very vital role. India, although being a developing country, we have always seen that the developed nations have talked more, although they are biggest polluters, but they have talked more on reduction of pollution. But for the first time, a developing nation like India took center stage and took the responsibility to bring down our emission levels by 2030 to the emission levels of 2005. And I think people may feel that it's a very ambitious target, but I think with the focused approach of everybody in India, of every state government and the federal government, we will be achieving it by 2030. And I think that is something which will be one of the biggest way to mitigate the natural disasters. India has also created world's biggest dedicated force to respond to the disasters, which is NDRF. In our state as well, we have our SDRF, which is also a force with a lot of capabilities. We have also developed many command and control systems. One of the command and control systems is right there in my office, where we have access to every corner of the state, and we can control the operations into disaster management from that center. We have command and control systems in cities like Mumbai, Nagpur and Pune, and we have experienced in the recent floods, due to these command and control systems, we could actually give very quick response, and we could avert a lot of losses into human capital and also the economic losses. So I think with all these initiatives, we want to stay in forefront, and I'm sure that forums like this, with all the deliberations and the outcome, as rightly told by our minister, the Amrut, which comes out of these deliberations, we would be very happy to communicate more, to adopt all the strategies that come out of these deliberations, and we would try and make our state and our country a very responsive country towards all the type of disasters. I once again wish you all the best. I once again welcome you all. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Maharashtra.